And we are live on the first episode of the year of 2018 of the show, which is called
Conversations that matter. So,
Skrrr-pop-pop. Hey, bro. Happy
hey,
New
hey,
Year,
hey.
mate.
Happy New Year to you too. I hope you had a good trip back home in Manchester
Yeah, I just
because
arrived, to be
Manchester is your
honest.
home now. So,
Yeah, that's true. I just arrived like a couple of hours ago, and feelings are kind of mixed and complicated. I'm not quite sure what is up, and I am excited for 2018 and all the things that I'm gonna create over here. But still, Greece, Athens is my home forever. So yeah,
yeah, I completely understand what you mean. Like at the time that you were here, it seemed like you had a ton of fun, ton of interesting interactions with your old and new friends, and you cannot replace that anywhere, right?
amen to that, mate. Amen.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely true.
So what kind of plans do you have going forward in 2018?
Dude, there are many things. Like when I said that I'm excited, like I'm super excited for 2018 because finally, finally, after like a lot of time, my website is about to be released,
Yeah.
and that's gonna be super critical because finally I'm gonna have like a place where I will be able to concentrate everything into one place. So GG. Apart from that, the ebook is done. It will be on the website as well. I have to also start and finish, of course, the online product, and I have some other surprises concerning, the brand, but I'm gonna keep them like secret for the moment.
Ooh, nice, nice, nice,
What
nice.
about you?
My plans for 2018 is mostly health related and fitness related, right? Uh, Things that have to do with building muscle mass, lowering body fat, increasing strength in the free weight area of the gym. Um, and also, I want to be able to let's say detach myself from technology a bit, uh, because I've done some calculations, and the the number of hours that I spend engaged with technology are enormously big. And I really want to reduce that because I think that it's turning into an addiction, and I don't want to be at all like that. And so, to implement it more practically, I've set some habits that I'm gonna shut off everything at some point in the day and engage myself with a book or go out and stuff like that. But you really have to be proactive about it, I think, and you have to set a schedule. Otherwise, it's very easy to just say, "Oh, fuck it, I'm too bored. I'm just gonna watch a movie," but you're not getting anything done with in regard to what you want to do. And I think, yeah, it's mostly about personal and like mental and physical health goals that I have. I don't have any specific goal in mind regarding business or money or um, too much about relationships. To be honest, it's mostly about health. Yeah.
I think health is important, right?
Yeah.
Like without health, you can do anything. Like it's, I agree. That's a good goal. And yeah, man, do you believe in resolutions?
No, I don't, because I think that first of all, what I just described you as personal goals of mine are not my 2018 goals. Are actually my November 2017 goals because that's when I started actually doing the thing, like setting up a program and doing it. Uh, I don't really believe in New Year's resolutions, actually. I believe in resolutions. I don't believe in New Year's resolutions. I think it's an excuse to wait for the new year to do anything, except when like there is actual practical implications of the new year for you. Like the new year means that you're getting also a new job or that you are moving out, like there is a practical implication. But other than that, you have no reason to wait for a number on the calendar to change yourself, like, right? Like it makes not much sense. And
Yes,
it reminds me of the quote from the Stoic philosopher Seneca, who said that we act like mortals in what we fear, but we act like immortals in what we desire.
that's
Uh,
beautiful.
yeah,
Yeah,
which means
yeah,
that like when we are afraid to do something and we feel the resistance, then we feel like that we're gonna die from it, and the obstacle is so huge that we cannot overcome it. But when we see something that we want, we think that we have all the time in the world to get it, so there is no haste in our minds, no rush to take action, right? And this is what it means, like we act like mortals in what we fear, and like immortals in what we desire. And this is key, I think. So no New Year's resolutions, it has to be today's resolutions every time, for me at least. I don't know about you. Some people are more romantic about scheduling and dates in specific, I think. And for example, I was talking to a friend and she told me that I like the fact that the calendar shows first of the month of a new year. It's like hitting the reset button in a way. So it's like a ritual or some sort. What's your philosophy on that?
no, I think it's definitely like, writing your new book and the new book of your life and starting a new chapter and stuff like that. But I think we should also try to get a little bit deeper on that because there are more than like can we can see. And what most of the people I think don't realize is the fact that setting goals is important, but sometimes we make the whole organization of goals so like you know, in a way that, oh, if I don't set the goals in the 1st of January, my 2018, my new year is gonna be a total destruction and I'm not gonna be able to achieve more and I'm not gonna be able to live a fulfilled and happy and satisfied life. But no, I agree with what you said that it's all basically bullshit because you don't need to put the goal on the 1st of January because if you do it like that, you are kind of motivated from the fact that it's the beginning of a new year, which is something external. Like you said, I set my goals in November, so you didn't wait like to set the goals for the new year. You decided to change at some point for your reasons. So for me, as long as you put some goals, you're good to go. But don't wait for the 1st of January of the new year. That's not gonna be super helpful. It might work in the end, but like for me at least, when I did something because I said now it's a new year, let's do it, I kind of, realized that that wasn't my cup of tea. And I really fast stopped doing it. Because
Exactly.
finding, having a strong why behind your action is like strongly, important. And I wish more people could understand that. But also, apart from the goals, and let's talk a little bit about what my basic, resolution was in terms of communication with the people around me. Because, I think that health is important, business is important, studies are important, but there is something else which is also maybe even more important, which is your communication and your connection and your relation and relationship with the people around you. So my like new year resolution, if you will be like the love dose challenge. I decided that this year I'm gonna be like super straightforward with the people around me, super honest, super like, when I feel something, I'm gonna express it no matter what. And of course, I'm not gonna be like, say things without even, think about them, like that they kind of might insult someone. But when I'm feeling something, I will try to communicate that to the people around me, my family, my friends, my podcast co-host, and everyone in general.
Yeah, I think it's important to do that also because in part when you want to change yourself, this automatically changes the context and content of your relationships. So what in the past you may have taken personally or you may have judged wrongly, then you realize after a while that like there was a different meaning to it, and you there is huge value from going back to these people and talking to them about it. And since the time has passed and you are both detached from the emotional, spike that you had during the moment, even if it was positive or negative, doesn't matter, then a good honest conversation is right, like a remedy for your soul, I believe. And it should be done often, like when you feel like your your interactions lag or something like that, then it's time to like be the bigger man, quote unquote, and say the truth and say the reality of your own word and express it to the other person.
I think if this happens, it's a conversation that matter. And
Yeah, and then they should start their own podcast.
yeah, no, it's true, and they deserve it as well. Like the people around us deserve this kind of treatment. Like, why not communicate honestly today, now, with the people that you love? Why not communicate today, now, to your friends that you are like dissatisfied by one of their actions? Why not communicate to your parents today, now, that you love them? Why not communicate to your business partner today, now, that you're thinking about some change in the whole structure of the company? I think that we are waiting so much for something new, something different, and we're waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect time. And if we just stop and realize that now is what matters the most, today is when we can do a change, then it's just simple like mathematics. If you
Mhm.
do the math, it goes like, okay, today is important, this person is important, communication will help me, so I'm going to communicate with him today, now, so I can accomplish something better.
Yeah, exactly. And uh, to be honest, when you do that, it's not only a conversation that you have with the person in front of you, it's primarily a conversation that you have with your own self. Because you like you realize, you come to the conclusion that, hey, if I feel like this, then why not say it, right? If I should act in a certain way that I think is right, then why not act like it? If I believe something to be true, then why not speak it? So it's like it's a positive reinforcement for your own self when you do that. Because, like, of course, you cannot control how the other person reacts, and you may go there with full expectations like that. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna say the truth to them, and then I'm gonna express my feelings, and then they will do that to me too, and it will be like a utopia of warm feelings and honesty and blah 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 blah. But that possibly could not happen. So you have to just be like rest assured that you did your own part, right? And you did the best that you could do given the circumstances, and this gives you permission to move forward, and of
Definitely.
course then to go to sleep at night with a peace of mind, right? Which is the like the purpose of all of this, I believe.
Definitely. Regrets, mate. Fucking
Yeah,
regrets.
yeah. And that's so true that you said about so many people waiting for so like perfect moments. I've been a huge victim to it, because I tend to overthink things. So waiting for the perfect moment is like waiting for the sun to rise during the sunset, right? To instead of instead of setting, then it would rise again when it was about to set or something like that. And there is no perfect moment, and even the moment that you think is perfect is actually not perfect because, well, what do you know about the perfect moment, right? The
The
perfect
perfect
moment
moment
that you
is now.
think could be actually a shit moment compared to the actual perfect moment, right? So you don't have the information, not even to judge whether the perfect moment will be there for you. So I think that you should stop like like giving permission to external circumstances to act, and then just do it. Just give permission to yourself, and this is the most important thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I have nothing to say to that. Like, I agree.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. I don't know. Like, I wish that. Well, I'm not quite sure. Like, I wish that people were able to act like that. But on the other side, I'm not sure that this kind of attitude is for all the people. Like, sometimes I think that people are like, if you're happy with less,
Hmm.
you're happy with less. Like, you're
Yes,
inside
but
the matrix. You're outside the matrix. You took the red or the blue pill. These kind of things. And
I don't
I,
think that it's that binary. Um, if you've heard the about Joseph Campbell, he says he talks about the hero's journey, right?
Mhm.
He's written a book that called The Hero with a Thousand Faces, which is actually like the explanation between every mythological and historical heroic figure.
Yeah,
And like the beginning of every hero's journey uh, begins with first step is like you are living in the status quo, right? The second thing is that you have a call to adventure. Okay, and the first the first time that you have to make a decision about whether to follow your path or not is if you answer positively or negatively to your call to adventure, to your call to action, right? And he says that if you deny your call to action, that's what Joseph Campbell says, that if you deny your call to action, then your this call to action will manifest again itself in front of you after a while. So you cannot really escape it. If you say no, then there will be another call to action later, and another later, and another later. And the more no's you say, then like your regret and all these miserable feelings, they accumulate, and then you live a bad life. But even though you can say like I took the blue pill or the root or the red pill, then you have to still like make a point about how many times have you taken the blue or the red pill, right? So if you had 10 different people that you felt like you needed to make the conversation, but you only managed to do so with one person, okay, you took the pill once and you rejected the pill 9 times. Okay, but you still made like a mini hero's adventure with that one person. So, and also on the topic of if it is for everyone or not, I think that it is for everyone because it applies to every area of your life. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
some people don't want money. Okay, don't want the responsibility, don't want the technical difficulties that come. Okay, but that same person may want a healthy relationship with their parents or with their spouse. Okay, there is a hero's call and a hero's adventure, a hero's journey that's associated with every area of your life. Okay, and
True.
they are all very independent of each other. So you may not have answered your hero's call for your business, okay, or for your sport or for your art, but there is a hero's call for your spouse that you really have to answer. Okay, and there are very few people that are actually completely honestly nihilistic about life. There is at least one thing that every person that each person has great amount of interest and desire in, right? So, and in that thing I think that everybody should answer their hero's call because they would go through a journey that is like an epic adventure, and it's like a beautiful story. You can think of Jesus Christ, you can think of Luke Skywalker, you can think of Batman, you can think of, I don't know, anything, any great hero that you've seen or read in literature, in movies, in comic books, in history, in mythology, in religion, and that can manifest in you, and you can feel what these great people felt by answering your own hero's journey. It doesn't have to be grandiose, but the process is the same, and it's your moral obligation to go through the process, I think.
Cool. I like I like the fact. I like the whole way you like somewhere the whole book and the whole concept. Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of other beautiful things about it. Um, for example, one of the things is that when you're called to adventure, when you say yes to it, then the next thing that happens to you is that you find a mentor. So there is always like um, a father or a mother figure that you encounter as a teacher for your new adventure. Okay, and this can be anything, like it can be your higher consciousness, it can be an actual mentor like a business mentor or a coach or a friend who is more advanced on that journey or something like that, right? Then you encounter your then the next step is that the hero encounters like their demon, their boss in a way. Okay, and what happens is that they fail. It's so typical, they always fail. And the actual like symbolism of failing is actually dying. So for example, what happened with Jesus Christ, uh, what happened for example with Luke Skywalker, like Darth Vader cut off his hand, right, and then
Yeah.
he surrendered into the void. But he was lucky that they picked him up with his sister picked him up, and like all these things happen over and over again. Like the first time against your demon, you fail, okay, and then there is the resurrection that happens, which is like what you say very elegantly, like learning from your mistakes, okay, learning from past experiences, is that then after the resurrection, then you have enough strength and intelligence to defeat the final boss, like your demon, and then what happens is that you go back into the real world, into the status quo, with a heightened sense of reality, a sense of truth that is new, that you didn't have before, an experience that made you a better person, a different person than before. Okay, so which means that you deal with the world in a very different way. And then what happens is that you get another call to adventure, and this happens over and over and over again until you die. Like this never stops in a way. It's very interesting.
Like the fact the most like interesting thing in the whole hero's journey is the fact that no matter how many times you try to get away from your hero's journey, you will always come across like some little doors and some opportunities to go and check, to go and chase it again and again, which means that you are supposed to do some things. And when you see things that happening to you that might take you toward that road, you shouldn't like ignore them. It's like life is telling you, dude, wake the fuck up, go do the thing that you love, go do you, as Gary says all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you should never deny it, because then you will always live with the what if scenario in your head. And I detest the just the thought of the what if scenario is the worst case scenario every time.
Unfortunately, same here.
Yeah. Any good books that you're reading or just finished?
So I finished a book called Mindfulness, Plain and Simple.
Mhm.
The author is Ollie Doyle. It's like a super small guide to mindfulness and a practical guide to inner peace, as the book says. I think it's very easy to read and gives you like a better understanding of what mindfulness, meditation, and in general how thinking happily and emotions work. And I would highly definitely suggest this book to people that are interested into practices of meditation and basically training your brain. Apart from that, I'm still reading Stoics. I finished Epictetus, which was like an amazing book, and Hiridion was like super crazy. I think for such a small book, I think I wrote the most notes
Wow.
than any other book. Every page has a 10 like 10 lines notes every page.
Wow.
And now I'm reading Meditations by Marcus Aurelius.
Okay, so you've gone down the stoic path.
Yes.
All right, I dig that. That's very good. That's very good. What was like the main takeaway from Epictetus? Like if you had only one sentence to give me the golden nugget of Enchiridion, what would it be?
you know, you know, but the people
Please,
listening to the
please.
podcast, the podcast don't know. So it is the Greek phrase which is "τον όντων τα μενεστήν εφημίν, τα δε ουκ εφημίν," which means that what is up to us, what is not up to us. In other words, there are things that we can control, things like our emotions, our desires, our thoughts, our opinion about other people. But there are also things that we cannot control, like other people's opinion, like the weather, like politics, the new president election, like financial problems, stuff like that. You cannot control them. So instead of focusing on all the things that you don't have, you should just like focus on the things that you have, and most importantly, do the things that you can control, because that's what matters. And as Epictetus, I think, says, it's like his decision making theory. He says like, do you have a problem, yes or no? No problem, okay, you're good to go. You have a problem, okay, can you do something about it? No, let it go. Can you do something about it? Yes. Do what you can do and then let it go. So we I'm pretty sure you've seen that as well. Like people, we dwell so much into things that we cannot change. Like people that are breaking up with their partners, they will be like, oh, and she hurt my heart, she broke my heart, and now I'm devastated. And oh, I cannot imagine how we'll get you back. Dude, relax. Like, if you can do something, do it so that you don't have any regrets. If you can't, move on. I know that, it sounds more easy than it actually is, but I think that's also a muscle that you can train. And if you go toward this decision making theory a lot of times for like small things in life, starting from the weather, which is something very simple, and it's like one of the things it's on in my mind every single day here in UK because weather sucks. Can I do something about the weather? No. Okay, let go and live your life like it was sunny, because that's not something I can change. And that was like the biggest takeaway for me and the biggest golden nugget from Enchiridion. And I totally recommend it to everyone.
Mm, I think that everyone should read it. It's like I have no words actually. It's I think that the fact that you said that you made a ton of notes, even though it's like 100 pages long, something like that, then it says enough on its own, because like you've read a lot of books, right? And you've gathered a lot of information from a lot of different sources. But in a strange way, this motherfucker had it all figured out way before anyone else, in a way. And the decision making philosophy of like, what is up to me, I put that on a bucket. What is not up to me, I put that on a different bucket, and I only have to concern myself with the first bucket, like what is up to me, what I can change, what I can deal with, what I can improve, what I can cut off, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, and
It's
also another big idea on of Epictetus was the fact that people are not like angry with the events that are happening to their life. They're like angry with their judgments and their actions on those events. Like when you are angry with your girlfriend, you're not angry with the whole event of happening, like share yelling at you and disrespecting you, but you are angry with your judgment and your reaction to that action. Because what you resist persists. Instead of like staying still and not saying the things that you wanted to say at that specific moment, you just close your mouth, shut it up, and let the event happen on its own. No, if you want to do something, and that should be like a wake up call for all of us. When something happened to us and it disturbs us, we need to say something. We need to do something. We need to express it, because otherwise it will burn us from the inside.
yeah. Uh, for um, for the last couple of like since 2018, I've been following the Daily Stoic Journal, which is like the sequel to the Daily Stoic book, and it's about journaling. Actually, there's a every week there is a different lesson that you study, and then for the following 7 days of the week, there's a question to answer. The same question in the morning, the same question at night before you sleep. And there are some very, very interesting questions. And on the third day, on the first day, the question was, what things are truly in my control,
Oh,
right? And on the third question, on the third day, the question was, what can I say no to, so I can say yes to what matters.
Nice.
So it's like putting in practical exercise what you learn by studying Stoicism. I think it's a must-have for anyone who wants to get into journaling and into Stoicism at the same time. I could not recommend it more, to be honest. It's very, very
Yeah.
good.
I'm reading, like, as you recommended to me, the Daily Stoic, but no, I haven't yet started a daily journal because I'm doing the 5 minute journal. So probably when this ends in like 6 months from now, I'm gonna do the daily journal. And I have a question for you, but before I wanna just state a funny fact about Epictetus,
Uh-huh.
because I kind of, also read his story. And, first of all, his name means that he was acquired. Epictetus means that was acquired by someone, and he was a slave. And the funny thing about Epictetus, if you see in all the pictures that he is depicted, he's holding like um I cannot find the word, like the wood that helps him walk, because
The walking stick.
Epictetus had a crippled leg.
Yeah, yeah, walking stick.
Yeah, walking stick, and he had a crippled leg, and I read that he never wrote anything of Enchiridion and Stoicism, philosophy, nothing. But all of his work was recorded by sorry by his students. So my question to you is, why do you think Stoic philosophy has such a practice and application in modern day life? Because we mean, like, we talk about the philosophy which was invented thousands and thousands of years ago.
I think it's cyclical because it's a good philosophy. I think any good philosophy is practical philosophy, and uh, it's mostly independent of social structure, of time, of anything. To be honest, so like an indication that this is a good philosophy is that it it's fully applicable today. It's like insanely applicable today, and uh, there are there are not so many practical philosophies, to be honest, that can find this level of application today. Uh, and there's also there is the logical fallacy that most people think that we are modern people and they are ancient people, but in reality, 2,000 years in time difference is nothing compared to like the millions of years that uh, we uh, we are as a species on this planet. So just it's the technology that has changed, not much else, like, and the social structure, but your brain thinks of things exactly like Epictetus thought of things. You just have different tools to express yourself, and that's it.
Yeah, yeah, nice.
Yeah. So what
I
was
think
the
we
question?
that was a question,
Ah, I thought it
like
was a different question. Okay.
why there is an application of such a ancient philosophy into modern day life.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. It's the same reason why, for example, mathematics as a philosophy is still applicable today because, like, it's true, right? You cannot deny mathematics. In the same way, I think that you cannot deny the fact that there are two categories of things. There is one thing, there is a category that you control, there is a category that you don't control. And you can also not deny the truth that you have zero, it makes zero sense for you to feel bad about the things that you cannot change. And it makes also zero sense for you to not try to change the things that you can change, because this is the way that you can be at peace with yourself. So these are undeniable truths, to be honest. And I think every religion or dogma or anything like that uh, is in some way um, like you can find agreement with them in these sentences, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. I think we should wrap it up for today.
Yeah, me too. It's been good.
Yeah, because I think I will need to go to sleep really, really soon. Because I'm with 3 hours of sleep. I was flying at 6 a.m.,
Wow.
7
Yeah.
And cool. So that was the episode 13. Do you have any final thought before we close?
I think that if you guys had any New Year's resolutions so far, that you should stick to it no matter what. Like, stay disciplined. Um it's like remind yourself of the quote that successful people do what they want to do, whether they feel like it or not. And then you will pass through the resistance, and then will come a time where it's just habitual behavior for you, so it will be natural. So if you despise the gym, if you despise eating well, if you despise working like 8 hours a day, after a while it will just become a habit for you, and then it will be all upside from there. So stick to it.
So the obstacle becomes the way.
Exactly.
Thank you very much for listening to the Conversation That Matter episode number 13. As always, we'll see you. You will hear us basically next week on Tuesday. Till
As
then, be
always.
happy, be motivated as fuck, follow your resolutions, and don't forget to follow us on social media as well. Stratis Instagram is at Stratis Karad. Eh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm learning. So it's at Stratis Karad, and mine is at Yannis underscore Pantelis. We'll see you all next week. Thank you for watching and listening live with us. And if you have any question, any tip, any resolution you would like to share with us, make sure to do it on the comments below. That's all.
Peace. See you.